What's up, everyone? Welcome to the season preview episode of Left Coast Leafs podcast. I'm Sean Orr, joined with multiple Trevors and Tommy tonight. It's the fucking preseason crew back together.
Yes.
Here we go.
We
Welcome,
got the
everyone.
band back together. Even though
to get it.
Go ahead.
Well, we're fully virtual. We are all over the country tonight. We are in British Columbia. We are in Saskatchewan. We are in Ontario.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, before we get to of why we're everywhere, what is going on, let's get into what we're drinking. Tonight, I am drinking. I have my BC beer with me, but I went with a Muskoka Mad Tom IPA. I thought I'm in Ontario.
Yeah.
I might as well get an Ontario brew going. I have
started.
my BC beer for after. It's a special beer, but I'm going with IPA in the wheelhouse, and I'm going Ontario Muskoka Brewery. I'll throw it over to you, Trevor.
I got a Ace Brewing Company from Courtney, British Columbia. Reg, does that say the fuck bomb?
F-bomb, I guess.
It's just an F-bomb. It's got like some it's a pomegranate plum sour from Ace Brewing Company.
Sours are fucking awful.
I know you hate
I love sours.
Let's throw a change of pace because I don't think Tommy's got a beer. Something tells me he doesn't have a beer.
No. And I decided to go local. So I'm drinking Shelter Point up in Oyster River. Campbell River makes a beautiful whiskey. So this is a cask strength, so about
that looks so good.
57%. So I'll put a little ice on it.
A little jealous. 57. I'll put a little ice on it. Well played. Well played.
Just a casual 57%.
Yeah.
Taste the sea air.
Saskatchewan, what do you got for us?
I'm drinking Rebellion Brewing Company Pandemonium.
I guessed it.
Ale.
They have a Pandemonium too. Yes.
Yeah. It's delicious. It's
is it what is IPA?
Regina.
That's our Pandemonium from Phillips Brewing Company.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to go pill for sure, just to be like a Saskatchewan guy.
I thought about it actually, but I actually personally I hate pill. I would much rather drink pee, honestly.
Hey, neat connection with Muskoka with Victoria. They're actually owned by the same guy.
Really?
Muskoka Brewing and Vancouver Island Brewery.
Wow, I didn't know that. Who owns who then? Is it a BC or
they don't
Ontario
own
based?
each other. One guy owns both breweries.
That's a fun fact.
Wow.
Fun fact.
And I do have to say off the top, we were contracted. I was contacted by the NHL, and we are contractually obligated to refer to the divisions with their corporate names. So to review those, it's the Discover Central Division, the Mass Mutual East Division, the Scotia North Division, and the Honda West Division.
You know what? I don't even care. Make as much money as you can just so we can pay Austin in 4 years from now. I don't even care.
I know. We got to afford Morgan and Austin. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
where are we at,
let's
boys?
get into it.
Let's get into it.
I think let's get right into it, Trevor. You lead us off here. You got the controls here. Just start firing out the questions.
Well, we're gonna just go on who's coming, who's gone, out the door. This is off the top of my head. Frederick Gauthier, Cody Ceci, Tyson Berry. Add to it, guys.
Nick
Andreas Johnson.
Nick DeBatane just went waivers. Kasperi Kapanen traded out.
Andreas Johnson. Tommy just added.
Yeah.
Hutchison was an addition, but he just went on waivers today, though. So is he an addition or I don't know, but fuck Hutch.
Yeah.
I think he plays for the Marlies. I think they just waive him and they bring him back, unless New Jersey picks him up with their quandary.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? He's goalie number 4 behind Aaron Dell, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so on the front end, we added Jimmy Vesey, Joe Thornton, Wayne Simmons,
Barabanov,
Andreas Barabanov. I just call everybody Andreas from Europe. I don't know if I know their name. Joe Thornton. Those and all 5 of those guys are destined to be in the top 12 on opening night. So that's big turnover up front. That's practically 50% turnover up front.
One of them guys is a fucking top 3 forward with Jumbo.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal. Yeah. And you can almost
Go
ahead, Tom.
I just thought everybody just predicted that he'd be on the fourth line. Like we'd have the oldest fourth line in hockey.
Yeah.
And Sheldon Keefe pulls one out of the bag and he's like, no, that's not how we're going to roll.
I
No.
love how he brought it up where like no media asked the question. And then on day one, he's like, do you want to hear the lines? And then he just said, Jumbo's on line 1. Like,
I know. Yeah.
like here's some chum to the Sharks.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
We all know that's not going to happen.
We'll see if he can keep up with Matthews and Marner. I think he's still got some gas left in the tank, but I don't know. We'll have to see. With a shortened season, it might not be a bad idea to keep him up there.
Well,
The thing is, though, with his zone entries, like he'll be like 0, but his passing lets him like get so creative with anything with it.
I think he gives them a ton of room out there as well. It's just being a big guy. And if you think about Thornton's fight card over his NHL career, he doesn't back down from anybody, right? He fought Tom Wilson, Jamie Benn, Getzlaff, Steve Ott, like
Nazem Kadri.
Nas was probably I think that was his last fight, maybe.
Yeah, except he lost some beard in that fight, though, I think.
I know.
A lot of it.
He lost
some
5 pounds in weight.
Yeah.
But the thing, like, I think it might have been us who kind of brought up in our playoff preview that the Leafs are perceived as a fast team, but they don't play fast. Like it's not like they're up and down the ice like lightning. Like I look at Carolina and other teams that they zip up and down quicker to Colorado, but the Leafs are a bit more methodical through the zone, and it doesn't take a thoroughbred to play in their top 6. It's going to be a minutes situation with Thornton.
Yeah.
Not a can he play with those players situation. Because he can think with everybody.
He's on top, like power play 1 though. Like he's going to be up near 20 minutes a game though. I think.
Do you think that might mean that we see some load management coming as like in Kawhi level, taking games off load management?
I don't know if I see load management. I see minute management probably though. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think he can sustain 20 minutes a game for 56 games in a season.
Yeah.
But I think some games he may only get 10, 12 minutes.
But if you're playing 4 minutes on the power play though, like you're not doing a lot of effort like for him though if he's just passing the puck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Probably the most well-conditioned guy on the team too.
Yeah.
Like there were guys just talking about it over and over again. Like Jimmy Vesey, it was just, he grew up a massive Joe Thornton fan, right? For him to be playing with him now, he is just like in awe of like his physical fitness and how that guy brought himself to camp, right?
Because you remember when they didn't make the playoffs and it was post COVID, it was kind of coming up to the restart, and there was a picture of him like shirtless on like a dock or something. He had a total dad bod going. He's also been playing. He's also been playing in Switzerland for. That's right. So he's been working it off, right?
Yeah. So he has got a little bit of playing ability. Yeah. He's got a little bit of playing time in him.
What do you guys think of the line combination? So we have Matthews, Marner, Thornton. Are you glad that it's Matthews, Marner together, or do you wish it was Matthews, Nylander?
I'm in the Marner camp, 100%.
I'm with the Matthews Marner combo. I think that's going to be a good line combination for sure. Mm-hmm. Especially adding Thornton in there, like Sean said, with his passing ability and stuff. And I think it's going to give lots of opportunity to those guys to show what they've got.
I feel like a lot of it is a mirage though right now. I don't feel like I feel like 2 games in, it's going to be Hyman up on the top line. I think Thornton sticks on the power play. I think what he's doing right now, I know it's shortened, but it just doesn't feel like Thornton on the top line is a natural fit here. It just feels like by the midway point, Hyman's going to be on line 1, and it'll feel right with Matthews Marner. That's just my gut feeling right now.
I think in speaking to that too, I think going down to the second line too, like I see VC as a third line guy. I don't see him as a second line guy, but I think Mikheyev will probably bump back up to the second line, and they'll probably swap some forwards around in the second line.
And already with Kerfoot out, there's a bit of a mix up there too. But I don't want to say that Keefe was getting gimmicky or anything like that, but it might just be like kind of a shot across the bow of the team saying, like, don't get comfortable under any circumstances this season. This is my camp. This is my team now. And it's going to be like everyone's going to have to be ready for anything.
It could be a respect thing, though, too, because remember, like, Babcock sat Spezza in game 1, and that was, like, kind of like he was a big dressing room guy, and, like, that's a fucking loser move to do. And it's almost like you put Thornton on line 1 for game 1. It's kind of like, this is a new regime. We're here. We respect our players. We're going to win with veteran players. Yes, Thornton may not be here at the end of the regular season on the line 1, but he's in the fucking lineup to start. And I feel like it's kind of a shot at Babcock a little bit because he sat Spezza where it was like that was a big deal at the time.
Mm-hmm. And that set the tone for his 22 games of the season, didn't it?
Yeah.
He lost the room.
I think it's a culture shift too. You know, just like I said, you know, just getting back to the respect of the players and stuff and respecting who they are and what they've done and what they can bring to the team. You know, they may not be the most fleet of foot, speaking of Thornton, may not be the most fleet of foot anymore, but, you know, he's still got some game left in him. He's still got some skill, and he can still bring a lot of leadership to the guys, right? I think that's why he's playing with Matthews and Marner, too, is it's sort of like the Marlowe situation where, you know, you bring Marlowe in as a veteran player to lead the young guys a little bit. I think Thornton's going to kind of follow suit in the same kind of way.
Do you think he has it in his contract, though, because he wants to score 4 goals so he can pull his cock out on center ice?
That's what he said he'd do. What were you going to say there, Tommy?
I just love the you know, I get 6 new players, lots of them with like veteran presence, but it's like it almost through the lineup, it almost like what Sean said, to reiterate, is like every line these guys are going to have to be somewhat more responsible than they were last season, where you're sitting there going, okay, I got Wayne Simmons and he's going to be up my butt if we come off the ice, like him. And I think Wayne Simmons is going to play up and down this whole lineup.
Yeah. So before we
he might be on power play 1 by the end of the, like he could be like PP1 front of the net. Like he is a type of guy that if he gets the knack and he can put the puck in the net, and that's a big thing for this team.
Yeah. Before we move on to the D, are any of you like afraid of the age of the forwards versus maybe being able to maybe go back to a Cappy Johnson demographic of age group player? Like, are you guys really pleased with what they've done here with adding the veteran presence?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm pleased with it. It's a good balance. And I was going to mention this for the D too, just going off topic a little bit too. Like the D, I think is going to be a lot more balanced as well. So I feel like they've got a lot more zip on them. They've got a lot more experience in their lines, and they've added some skill really. And I think it's a lot more balanced team. The roster itself as a whole is a lot more balanced than it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in that camp where it's you've got to add that veteran addition, even if it might not pay out during the season. Like having all of these guys during the playoffs, it's going to get you past that first round hump.
Right.
I think Bogosian put aside, I'd never been as excited for the year to start on from a deep pairing standpoint, because Morgan Riley finally has someone of the caliber to play with Morgan Riley. It's not fucking Ron Hainsey. It's not Cody Ceci. Yeah. We have a legitimate 1B on the top line that has played with a Norris-winning defenseman. And I'm so excited to see what comes of it. I think Jake Muzzin is a stud, but for me, it's the bringing in of TJ Brody to play with Riley, the hope that we have that now in place. I think Bogosian will be very good too, but for me, it's bringing in Brody for Riley. That is a 25-minute D pairing right there.
Sure. So moving on to the D. So so out was Ceci, out was Barry. All right, and that's it. And then in was Bogosian, Lettinen, Brody. So some good turnover. Is anybody have any trepidation still about Hall being a top 4 guy? Like, do you think there needs to be an upgrade there at some point? Do you think maybe his Lettinen is just sort of maybe in waiting for that? Because I wouldn't hate a Hall Bogosian third pairing.
I'll kick us off here on this one. And my feeling was when Hall played with Muzzin, they were a top 4 pairing, shut down, very good. For me, he's earned top 4. I think he deserves it to be with Muzzin. And you know what? We're not in a fucking development mode here. We are in a win mode. And if he can't hack it, next man up. That's my feeling. But for me, he's a top 4 guy to start the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think he's a top 4 guy. I think he proved it last year. I don't think he ever got a chance with Babcock, and that's where all the, the rumors and all the people saying that he can't play and all this kind of stuff, that he never got a chance with Babcock. And I think now that he's solidified himself as pairing with Muzzin, like Sean said, I think it's going to be it's a shutdown D team, like shutdown defensive pairing. I think that's their go-to for defensive draws and stuff like that. I think that's the way it's going to be for the season. I don't see the lines changing that much.
Yeah, I don't mind. That's a decent top 4. I think maybe if they see themselves, and we'll get into our prediction mode on the next segment, but I don't think I think if they see themselves as a true contender, they might make a move in that spot, just for added depth. Maybe bring in a top 4 guy, like a legit top 4 guy that's established, and because at that point there'll be no cap considerations and that sort of thing. Do you feel that the Bogosian signing was necessary, and was it because of the lack of trust in Dermott that they did that?
100%, and I think there's also a lot of it's like a whole trail down, right? There's Marty Marinson, there's Travis Dermott, there's Sandin. It's just, we were getting pushed around the puck, we're getting pushed around the net. There were a lot of guys that couldn't hold guys up during the playoffs or even late in the season. They needed to get some depth, and if he drops down to 6, 7, 8, then he does. And I think Zach he'll be a professional about it. He'll ride the pine. He'll do whatever's best for the team.
Yeah.
At that salary too, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that's part of, I think bringing him in too is part of the grit that they needed to add. He's got that sandpaper finish to him, Mm-hmm. He's got that edge to him that he can play with the big boys. He can push people around. He's not afraid. He doesn't back down. He's a tough guy to play against. So, I think that's exactly what they needed to bring in.
He's a winner too. Just won a Stanley Cup. Yeah. And we, like I said, we're not in a development year. It is the top 6 players will play. And you know what? I like Travis Dermott, but if he's not a top 6 D on this team, we're not here to fucking develop him. We're here to win a Stanley Cup this year. And I think that's very evident in the moves that have been made. And if it means Dermott plays only 10 games this year or 30 games, so be it. Mm-hmm. I think Zach Bogosian brings a different look to this team that we haven't had before. He kills penalties like that. That's one of his good skills. Where we need to be a top 10 PK team if we want to win the cup. Bogosian can do that. Travis Dermott, I don't think he can.
No. Let's do just a quick roundtable prediction. Who plays more games this year, Sandin or Dermott?
Dermott.
Yeah, I say Dermott too.
Yeah. Dermott. I think Sandin is going to take a really good step this year. I think we'll be much happier with him in the lineup, but I think he'll edge him out as well. I think Dermott will edge him out, but I think Sandin is going to come in and be a different player this year. And I'm glad we have him as that sort of depth.
Yeah, I think he's our trade chip. I think, actually, to be honest, Sandin.
And I Dermott. Think Trevor brought up a great thing about load management early, right? Like 3 games in 5 nights, 2 games in 3 nights. Like there's going to be guys who are banged up, or they're going to give people nights off, and to have Travis Dermott there as a 6th guy or a 7th guy all the time.
Yeah, it's true. Like I think this is the first time. Like, remember when the Raptors did do that with Kawhi and the Spurs the year before, and there was a lot of articles written and talk about when will the NHL be introducing load management, because it's such a badge of honor to have these Iron Man streaks, or guys just don't want to sit in the press box if they're not unhealthy. And it's going to be forced on the league this year. And being a copycat league, if a team that let's say the Leafs win the cup this year. Now let's say that they just completely rotate the players in and out like it's a pitching rotation in baseball, and they win the cup. That's going to be completely copied even when we go back into an 82 games schedule. You know, I think like that this might be the beginning of that. So Sean just texted me. We got our 10-minute Zoom reminder, but that's okay. We're in good shape here, because all we have to do really is go on to maybe have a little debate on whether we like or dislike the balanced power plays, the power play units that they. And I'll shout them out here quickly. Matthews, Marner, Thornton, Simmons, Riley on PP1. You guys probably have it. And Tavares, Nylander, Hyman, Spezza, Lettinen on power play 2. Who wants to kick this one off? Tommy?
Sure. I think I made a note earlier, and I was like, should the power play 1 just be stacked? Like, when you get out there, you stack it, you end the penalty. Like, you're not there to use the 2 minutes. You're there to score as quickly as possible, and the best players should be on the ice. So I think, you know, over the course of the year, you're going to want them spread out. But I think at one point, you just got to go. And the model didn't work last year. I think everybody at the beginning watched it and were like, how are you ever going to stop this power play? You can't take penalties against the Leafs. And then all of a sudden, those 5 guys couldn't put the puck in the net anymore. But it's like, those 5 guys, even if you switch out maybe somebody for Thornton and still have those top 3 kids together, or with Thornton and Riley, I can't see why you wouldn't stack that first unit.
You know, I like the balanced approach, honestly. I think it's a really good opportunity for some of these guys, you know, like with having Thornton on 1 and having Thornton and Simmons on 1. I think it gives some experience on the power play. You got guys that can sit in front of the net. You got guys that can bang around, and you got Thornton that can pass the puck. And then, you know, I'm excited to see Lettinen quarterbacking the second power play, just to see what he can do. You know, I was looking up some of his stats, and I mean, he had close to 50 points in the KHL last season. Mm-hmm. So like, he's got some skill. And he's just excited to see what he can do on the second unit, you know, with not as much pressure to perform, where he can kind of just play his game and lead the power play unit.
Mm. For me, it's a mixed bag where I'm assuming that the Wayne Simmons swap for JT in front of the net will mean that Wayne Simmons is better in front of the net than JT, because I'm not as big of a proponent for the mix or the balanced lineup, because if that means Austin and Mitch aren't on the ice for longer with a man advantage, it hurts our team. Like, those guys put the fucking puck in the net, and for me, it's like, I don't know if JT and Willie give you the same type of production as Austin and Mitch in those positions will. And you know what? I think it'll be one where it could be like a 10-5-game segment where we'll see what it has, where we're going to see things change so quickly. But the one thing that I do like is moving Simmons onto the top line over JT. JT never replaced JVR in front of the net. He never gave that same type of put the puck in the net as JVR could. Yeah, maybe Simmons can, and if he can, I would like to see JT off the top line to let Simmons do that, because he's not doing it for us in terms of putting the puck in the net around the net.
Right. Well, see, I look at both these power plays, and I think there's probably 21 teams in the NHL where either one of these would be their top power play. So we kind of have an embarrassment of riches. But I'm just wondering what's going to happen when, say, the Matthews-Marner power play 1, as they're calling it, although it's kind of 1 and 1A, can't set up in the zone, get iced on twice, and then get called off the ice. Like, those guys, are they going to come off the ice? And B, how long till the sulking starts? And there's times last year when we really needed a goal and we didn't get it, because there was maybe a little bit too much dancing around the outside. So what I wonder about these two sort of more balanced lines with a little bit more net front presence is, are they going to move away from that side guy like the JVR Tavares guy is, to more of a net front guy where they're just going to maybe get more pucks on net and go for the scramble more than the seam pass or letting Marner take that weak shot off the sidewall like he wanted to do last year because he wants to establish himself as more of a shooter, right? And he's just not. So if it comes with a scheme change, I think I like them. But if not, if they're just going to do the same trickery, get your best guys out there doing the trickery for a minute 30. So I want to see. I want to see what the scheme is on those power plays. Sean, you're laughing at me.
Well, nice little shit on Marner there.
Well, he can't. He's not a hard shooter. Like that's not an insult. I mean, he's probably going to put up 120 point pace this year, but he's not a shooter, right? But he wants to be a shooter, so he's out there shooting, and
For me, in a normal year, I want to see Marner put up an assist a game, so 80 plus assists a game. And you know what? Goals, whatever. For me, Marner, make the fucking play, get the pass, get the first assist, and then that's as good as a goal in my books.
Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of wraps up our first our part one here. We're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna come back with more of our predictions and prognostications. That's
Procrastinations.
Wow.
Our constipations.
These are your own notes, and you just failed very poorly.
My spell checker failed me. So we're going to end with a Go Leafs Go here on part one. All right. So Go Leafs Go.
Go Leafs Go.
Go Leafs Go.
So guys, we're going to just break off here. I'm going to set up another Zoom. I'll send it out in the email. You guys want about 5 to 10 minutes just to regroup maybe and do that, and then we'll come back for
I'm good to keep going right now.
Yeah,
okay.
Okay,
I'll end this meeting and I'll establish that one. And it might take about 5 minutes to save this one. So I to the hard drive. So I'll just let that process work out, and then I'll send the email out right away.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys.
Bye, boys.